Pisces, Sun, Moon and Rising, here is your tarot reading for the week ahead. I release these videos weekly with a view to help you navigate some of the challenges that might be coming up, what to look out for, what to be hopeful for. And what is really useful is if you look at your rising sign, moon sign and sun sign, because that's going to give you a 360 view on what the energies are looking like for you specifically. If you're not sure how to do that, you can just check the pinned comment below and it gives you instructions on how to discover that for free. It will also invite you to sign up to the email so that you never miss a Tarotscope again. It will arrive direct to your inbox. But as ever, please take what's helpful, leave what isn't. We start off with this duo of the Two of Pentacles, the Lord of Perfected Work, and the Page of Pentacles. Really nice to be able to see these two. So it's feeling quite a good week in terms of projects, in terms of work, in terms of finances. You may find that there's a little bit of uncertainty around these themes, a little bit of weighing up. We have with the Two of Pentacles, the lemniscate that surrounds these two Pentacles, these infinity sign. So you may have felt for a little while now, Pisces, of a bit of a juggling act, both financially within work, what holds the most potential, where should I be placing my efforts, what should I invest myself into. And what's nice to see is that the Page of Pentacles is certainly offering some clarity around there. So from those points of duality that is represented by the number 2, that Two of Pentacles, it's should I do this, should I do that, there comes a singularity because the page is very closely linked with the aces, and that's just about the singular one. So it's nice to see that you're kind of going, right, this is what I need to move forward with, this is what feels right. And I think that's absolutely perfect. I think that is valid. I don't think that's you kind of deciding too quickly or too slowly or in any way missing the obvious. I would really encourage you, particularly when it comes to work and finances, but anything that is of the tangible world. So that can include things like the home, things like just anything that we can hold within our hands, that we can put our energies and efforts into. And if you are making these choices, or if you are narrowing things down, that feels very positively aspected. This isn't necessarily a time to broaden or open things up. It is a time to hone in your efforts and just deal with the task at hand, rather than lots of little bits here, there and everywhere that can perhaps feel a little bit like whack-a-mole. This is feeling like, no, this is what I'm doing for now. And you're very welcome to change that viewpoint or change that application later on down the line. But dealing with things as though they're a bit more on a conveyor belt rather than trying to water the whole field, so to speak, will be really, really useful and beneficial. We have the next card, which is the Lovers card in reverse. Not surprised that it's in reversed. For those that have been watching the other videos will know that I've mentioned Venus in retrograde in almost all the videos. Is a really large energy that is playing out, a very large planetary transit that's going on. We've just come out of Mars being in retrograde, which had brought with it a very masculine energy, lots of conflict, lots of battling of power and wits. And we may be thinking, oh, thank goodness we're going to have a moment of reprieve. Unfortunately, not quite yet, because Venus and Mercury are going to grace us with being in retrograde. But all is not lost. By the end of March, that will have cleared. What that means, however, Venus rules relationships in particular, and beauty and the aspects of love. And the fact that we've got the Lovers in reverse indicates that disagreements may be rearing their heads, uncertainties, questionings of the validity of relationships may also come to surface. What I've been saying almost to all the star signs is don't necessarily pay too much heed to that. I would only make decisions, big decisions on relationships once we get a good way into April, because then you know, actually, I'm thinking with a clear head. I'm not just being affected with the cosmic players or the cosmic energies at play, rather. What's interesting is there is an overlap between your reading and Cancer, in so much as those relationships that may be slightly under strain are going to feel like the important relationships. For other star signs, for other zodiac signs, that has been slightly across the board at quite a low level, so little irritants, pretty much across the board. For you, I just feel that there will be somewhat of a pressure or somewhat of a ramping up, particularly within marriages, particularly between parents, and intimate relationships, romantic relationships, and close familial relationships. Quite big, not necessarily disagreements, but quite big misalignment is perhaps you may discover within this particular period of time that you've suddenly discovered that you've got quite differing opinions or differing outlooks on where those relationships are headed. As I mentioned, just ensure that you're not taking that. Yes, it's serious, but you're not taking it too personally. The wonderful thing about being a water sign is that you're deeply in tune with your emotions, but one of the shadow aspects of being a water sign is you're deeply in tune with your emotions, so you can feel that a little bit more strongly than most. We have as your closing cards, the Knight of Wands and the Death card. Knight of Wands is usually an energy that's quite expansive, it's very explorative, full of enthusiasm, full of vigor. It can be the sign of travel, it can be the sign of wanting to explore new lands. The fact that we've got the Death card here, it's almost like they're pulling in opposite directions. They both got the horses, and one horse is pulling that way, the other is pulling that way, and it just doesn't quite know which way to go. That may express itself in a certain degree of ambivalence. Should I stay? Should I go? Am I wanting a new adventure? Am I wanting a new chapter here? Am I wanting a refresh? Or am I actually needing something a little bit closer to home, stability, security, a little bit of dullness, dare I say, a little bit of predictability, things feeling a little bit more routine. So those points coming a little bit into tension. Unsurprising as well, because you are the Pisces, so you have these big dreams, these big hopes, these big wants. And sometimes the everyday can feel a little bit too much of a fetter. It can feel like it's dragging us down a touch too much. But what I want to say here is there's no right and wrong on that. There's no right and wrong on that, but I can just see why there may be impulsive behavior coming through this week for you, Pisces. It's like, fine, I'm gonna just throw out baby with bathwater, to hell with it. I'm just gonna completely refresh. And there's just a bit of a there's a pun intended here. Hold your horses. We've got these horses energy. And if you're craving that degree of freedom, if you're craving a kind of a bit of an energetic reset, are there ways that you can produce that don't perhaps require such drastic action? This is in part my warning for you this week. But otherwise, on the whole, pretty positive. I know that there's a couple of little flies in the ointment there, but on the whole, particularly in comparison to a lot of the energies that other star signs are having to contend with, you're not doing too bad. So I hope that helped. Does that resonate? If so, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, I shall see you next week. Have a fabulous week. Bye for now.